You're listening to Excellence Above Talent, a podcast where we have the hard conversations about the lives of men and what leads us to achieve greatness and suffer defeat. Hear from other men's journeys as well, as we all learn and grow together to become inspirations to ourselves and those around us. And now your host, Aaron Thomas.
What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas with Excellence Above Talent. Have a fun topic today on this podcast, and I'm here with a few people, and I'll let them introduce themselves. We have
Lisa J.
Israel J.
And Bryleigh.
And Bryleigh. All right, so I put out a question on Facebook yesterday about divorce, and so 70% of divorces are initiated by women. Yes, Israel, he has a question for some odd reason.
No.
You raised your hand.
You said divorce. I was like, I've been there.
Oh, you've been there? I'm going through it. Thank you for that.
Join the club.
Join the club.
2022.
Are you married, Lisa J?
I am not.
Are you in a relationship, Lisa J? Bri, what about you?
No and no.
But you've been in a relationship before?
I have.
Okay. Have you, Bri?
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, so there's some things there as well. Israel, have you been? Well, yeah, you're divorced. All right, so nearly 70% of divorces are initiated by women, and I'm pretty sure breakups are also majority initiated by women if they're the ones initiating divorces. And if you are a college-educated woman, that goes up by 90%. Why do y'all think that is? What are some reasonings as to why?
Why a college-educated woman would end divorce?
Or just, why is it so high that women are initiating divorces more than men? 70 for uneducated, 90 for educated.
Well, maybe for the educated, because the women feel like their man isn't intellectually on the same level as them.
That, or they're not making as much money as they are.
I feel
Tell me
in
how you
today's
feel.
world, especially with educated women, that they get the independent status. And they feel like they don't need a man anymore. So once the man messes up in any kind of way, they're just quick to cut ties with him.
But how does that lead to divorce,
I think I kind of agree with that.
I mean, no, I do agree. I do. But
Well, yeah, if she don't want to deal with a dude that she thinks is incompetent, then she'll just divorce his ass.
Right.
I mean, essentially.
But you already married him.
Yeah,
you knew that before, so I get married.
Well, I think a lot of guys can put on the front to act like there's something when they're not. Women can too. Don't let me get it twisted. But guys, some guys that I've been friends with, they have changed their whole entire persona to be with a woman. Like their entire persona. Like you don't know who they are or what they are doing, because when a woman comes around, they act totally different. And so what they're showing this woman is one aspect, and they're doing something totally different when she's not around. And so then after a couple of years or months, he can't keep up that persona, and then he starts to show his self as far as who he really is, and she's like, who the fuck is this guy type deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To kick it.
You ain't got a lie to kick it.
I like not to kick it.
And a lot of people lie to kick it, I feel.
Yeah.
So there are some reasons why. I want everyone to give me a reason why. There's a reason why you feel that way. If you don't, you don't. But what is your reason as to why the divorce rate is so high within women?
I feel like it's based off of the age group. And I'll say that is now it seems like a lot of people are getting married a whole lot younger, but not necessarily for the right reason, just because they want to be able to say, oh, I'm his wife, or this is my wife, kind of like just to have that title. I feel like that's why a lot of times we probably are going through divorce, because they're not putting in the work that a marriage really needs. It's just to be in that moment, have that little aspect of it, and then be done when they're done.
No, I feel you on that. So you think it's age then?
Mm-hmm. I think age plays a huge factor in it.
So what give me a specific age, what age do you think would be in that age group?
In your 20s.
20s?
Mm-hmm. I don't think and it's just me, I don't think anybody should get married in your 20s. Only because, one, you're trying to figure out yourself. You're trying to figure out your career. Trying to decide if you want to have a family, if you don't want to have a family. Like, that's your I'm an adult phase. Like, okay, now I have to figure out what that means. So, and granted, everybody ain't going to have it figured out before they're 30.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they should take that time. Like, don't be so focused and so quick to be trying to get married. Like, that shouldn't be your goal.
Yeah.
Focus on you, get done what you need to get done, and then later decide that.
Do you think that's a society thing? Why people that young would try to, get married and try to create and have families so young?
Yes.
Yes.
Social media is the worst. They idolize these people and don't understand there's so much more going on off camera than there is on camera, and they just want that, what they see, they want it that bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely believe that.
And what about, like, culturally? Would it be like, is there a culture where, I don't know, in the black culture, in the black culture, yeah, my sisters were kind of like pushed to get into a relationship or pushed to have a man because they don't want, I guess, them to be alone or be lonely or things of that nature. So I don't know. Culturally, too, I think is something that we look at when it comes to getting married at a younger age or being forced or thinking you have to be married at a younger age. Like, that should
be your goal. Raise them up to be a wife. Raise them up to be a husband or whatever. Yeah, I think culture plays a huge role in it, too.
So I think you hit a nail on the coffin when you talked about in your 20s learning yourself. I think that is one of the biggest issues that happen in relationships. People jump into it and they don't know who it is. They don't know themselves, and then they're trying to live with somebody who also don't know themselves, and so it just becomes a complete and total chaotic place. So yeah, I think that's a big reason. Israel Joe, what about you?
Well, I think there's a few factors on why the divorce rate is high. You look at the older generation, the divorce rate is really, really low because divorce is frowned upon. But now today's age, more and more people are getting divorced, so a lot more people think it's okay. And in some cases it is okay, but like they don't get that shame from how it used to be from being divorced. So they're so quick to, they don't mind going that route. You know what I mean? So, hey, my friend got divorced or my mom got divorced. I can go through it too. I can do it. It's not that bad. Start over or whatever. And then, like Lisa J, they're just quick to jump in at an early age. The concept of being married to a lot of people sounds good, right? But when it takes the work to have a successful, healthy marriage, that's what a lot of people fail to realize. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of accountability, which a lot of the men today don't have. So, and like you said, they put on this persona at the beginning to get the chase to women, to get her. But once they get her, they get comfortable and then their true selves come out. And then like you were saying, that we don't know who we are at 20 years old. Shoot, I'm in my 40s. I'm still trying to figure out who I am.
Yeah.
So I think all that has to play in it. But there's a lot more, I'm sure.
So you said accountability. Talk more. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, men aren't accountable for their actions, or men aren't?
Sure, especially their actions, but also like the work. Like if a lot of men are emotionally immature, and women need that emotional security, and then also they don't know how to express that from their man because they may be fearful of asking that from them, to get that connection.
Yeah.
So if they do ask for it directly, the men will probably be like, "Oh man, here you go. You're just nagging and bitching, or what are you tripping on today?" They're not understanding the concept of what their woman is actually needing or asking for them. So they emotionally disconnect.
Yeah.
Then that's where the detachment goes into play, and the cheating and all the toxic drinking, whatever vice they choose to do. That's where they tend to steer.
Jump in and do.
Yeah.
Facts. What about you, Bryleigh?
I'm just going to play off of what Lisa J and Israel said, but also I think it has a lot to do with if your parents were divorced.
Okay.
If your parents were divorced, you grow up, you don't see marriage as something that you want to do.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't want to get, even in a relationship, a serious relationship, because, my parents got divorced. I don't want that to happen to me, so I'm just going to be single forever. But on the other hand, I think a lot of people have this mentality of, this guy says he doesn't want to be tied down. I'm going to chase him, and I'm going to make him who I want him to be. He's like that for a little bit. They're in it for so long, and then finally his true colors, she gets tired. She's like, no. She chased it for so long, and she tried to build this person who in her head she wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that also plays a role in a lot of separations.
Yeah. That's good for sure. Mm-hmm. So do you think, because women are initially the ones that want divorce more than men, do you think that's, one of the big reasons? Like, they have it in their heads as to what they want, but, in reality, it's not what's happening, and so they just kind of walk away like enough's enough?
Yeah.
What about, so I know some of you women like lists, right? Like, y'all, you've written a list of, like, what your man want to be. He got to be 6'4". He got to have a nice job. He got to make $100,000. He got to have a, at least a 7-incher, you know what I mean? Something to handle. He got to know how to read. There's a list of things that a lot of women have. And this is one of my things or my ideals. This is all opinion too. This is not anything. Don't get upset because we're having this conversation because it's just opinions. And I'm saying that while I'm talking because I'm probably gonna piss some people off. All right, so this list that they have, they might go and find that guy. That guy meets all her standards, and then she gets into that relationship. But then like a lot of people, your list change, and so that list now is different. And now when you're looking at this guy, he doesn't qualify for the list that you have now. And so you're just, as women, you just walk away because at the end of the day, if you are educated, if you are taking care of yourself, you don't need a man. I'm just going to be honest. Men don't need women. Women don't need men. Like that's just what it is. Israel's looking at me crazy. But, if you're a self-sufficient man, you know how to cook and clean and take care of yourself. You don't need a woman, right? And same for the women. You cook, clean, take care of yourself. You don't need a man. But at some point, like I feel like we're all meant to be together. We're all meant to be connected to something or someone. And so that's just one of my big things. There's a list. The list changed. Then she doesn't like what she sees now, and then she goes and starts to look for it in other people. And if she finds it in other people, then she'll kick the other dude to the side and go grab this dude that makes that list.
You know what? I think it's actually both
okay.
Men and women, because a lot of times too, you'll have the man that'll be in this relationship with this woman, can be with this woman for years, then had 6 kids, whatever the case is, and she changes physically, emotionally, whatever, whatever it is. And so they're like, okay, this is not the woman that I had before the kids. Let me go find that woman, or let me go out and look for it, and vice versa. But I think it does go back to how she was saying how when you see this person and you're like, okay, I'm going to make this man the man that I want him to be, and granted you do. But you can change him or think you change him, but at the end of the day, everybody's going to be who they want to be. So I think that whole idea going with the list is probably why it don't last. Just because you think, okay, here's my list, this is what I want, yada, 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 I get it. But shoot, looks can be deceiving, I can tell you that.
So I have someone on Facebook wrote this, and I was just kind of curious. I know me and Israel talked about it before y'all came in here, but it was... there's a pattern in many men of feeling or believing that they don't have to change or grow or improve once they have a partner. Many women simply outgrow their partners.
Yes.
Do you think that's true or false?
Yes.
I believe it.
Yes,
so
but it can go either way.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true.
So majority of the people that you've been with, you have outgrown them to a T.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say yes, 100%?
100%.
God damn it. Okay, what about you? 100%?
That I've outgrown them?
Yeah.
1 year. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She said 1 year. Oh, yeah.
Something I'm about to say.
What's his name?
What's his name?
Or what's her name? Is it 22 too range?
No, thank you.
When you think about the mental aspect of it, yeah.
It's on different levels.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it kind of goes, and y'all can, but you know how people be like, I love you, but not like, I don't want to be with
From
you.
a distance.
You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Like, I have to love you from a distance.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this kind of like with me and my son. Like, his dad. I love his dad because that's his dad.
Yeah.
But no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, no, you grow apart.
Yeah.
You see those. And it's kind of, and it is kind of like one of those things where you're in the relationship, it's good, and then it, like, stops. Like, there's no effort put into the relationship. There's no, you don't want to hear anything else. And not even here, but that checking on you type thing, you know, trying to see where you are mentally, you know, making sure you're good. Like, it just kind of just goes away or whatever the case is. So I can see where that whole getting comfortable and not, I mean, and granted, you want to get comfortable with the person you're with, yes, but at the same time, you want to keep that spark, I guess.
You don't want to
call
get
it.
stuck.
Yeah, you just sit like you're just going through the same motion every day. That will make you just be like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody can outgrow somebody, right?
For sure.
Especially if you're with each other for a couple of years. There's going to be some growth in somebody, you know? Someone might even regress, you know?
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't feel anybody needs to change anybody, man, because you should accept anybody for who they are. But at the same time, they got to be compatible with you. They got to have the same morals, virtues, goals, dreams. Not even the same goals, but, you know, they got to have that want to improve themselves. You know, and me just being on the new journey that I've been on, I haven't always been that way, and I can see where I regressed in relationships and why they want to end it with me. You know, and you know, especially my marriage, like I can see all that, and I'm aware of it now. So I know what I need to do from here on out, going forward. Like, and I also know what I need to look for in a partner too. Like, she needs to be able to want to grow with me, you know, instead of just staying comfortable and stagnant. That's where, you know, someone would outgrow someone real quick.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing too. You have to want to grow together, because if you don't, there's just it's not gonna be a happy ending.
Keyword together.
Together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keyword want to.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they get together in the beginning, it's easy because they want to do it.
Yeah.
But then after, you know, 2 or 3 years, it's like,
I don't even.
when I come into the house, I'm like, I don't want to, but it's like you should still have, like, because it's like I always tell people, man, I don't, you know, there's a lot of times I don't want to take a shower. There's a lot of times, I know it's stinky. There's a lot of times I don't want to get up in the morning. I want to just lay in bed and watch TV. There's a lot of things I don't want to do, but I have to do it if I want to live my best life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in a relationship, you have to have that same exact mentality. Like, if you want to help, or if you want to have like a good relationship, there's going to be things or times where you don't want to do things that you got to just do it. Show up for that person because that's what they're asking you to do.
Well, also too, it goes back to, like, you know, especially in the first beginning of part of the relationship, both people are making each other feel good. You get all the endorphins, dopamine, whatever, like, just all the feel goods, butterflies, nervousness, all that stuff. And then once that goes away, you're like, okay, what happened? And usually people are just not happy with themselves. So they look for that happy from other people. And they make that depend on them to make them happy when they should be already happy with themselves. When that person is just add on to it, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people today are just not ready for that. You know, they're not ready for relationships because they're not okay with themselves.
And they won't talk about it.
For sure.
They will not talk, whether it's to somebody else or their partner, and that's one of the biggest things.
And then once that wears off, that's why they go looking for something else.
Yeah.
Okay, who else is going to make me feel better now? That's why people are just jumping in relationship to relationship to relationship.
Yeah.
Because
Especially today.
you know,
It's so hard to find one person who's on the same page mentally, everything. It's so hard because they're trying to find somebody else. And I think that plays off of why divorce rate is so high, because once you outgrow this person, you want to find somebody else. And I think that people think divorce is an easy way out when it's hard.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be hard. People just don't want to put in the effort, I think.
But when you say that, divorce is not an easy way out, because if you get married again, you have a 60% chance of getting divorced. If you get married a third time, it's 73%. So, like, to me, what I see is someone isn't willing to do the work. They're not willing to be accountable for, you know, their shit and take accountability for their own actions. And so they discard people with the assumption that they'll find somebody that will complete them or help them, but then it becomes the same thing over and over and over again. Because essentially what I'm saying is 70% of divorces are initiated by women. When they get divorced, they're not going to be single for the rest of their life. They're going to want to find somebody else. But when they find somebody else, 60% are getting divorced as well. And so at some point, you got to stop looking at like, is it a man issue? Is it a human race issue? Or is it like a woman's issue? And I'm just asking, like, this is, again, I'm going to probably piss some people off, but it is what it is. Like, is it a woman's issue where women aren't doing the work? Women aren't trying to be accountable or find themselves, and so they're blaming men as to, why their lives are the way it is, versus just, look in the mirror and trying to work on yourself and make yourself better. Because if you do that, you're not going to allow like dumb shit to happen in your life. If there's a certain amount of love that you have within yourself, and it's for everybody, you're not just going to allow people just to walk in and treat you some type of way. But I can also see that, sometimes when you come into a relationship, you're all broken, and then you find yourself, and then you're like, okay, this dude wasn't shit to begin with. Mm-hmm. He got me in my broken, place, and now that I'm not there anymore, I have to go. But are you at least giving that dude a chance to grow with you, or are you just like, okay, I don't want nothing to do with him, and you're chopping off? Like, I don't know. It's just...
I think subconsciously you are giving him a chance.
Okay.
It just depends on the dude, too.
Trying.
If the dude ain't shit, then he ain't shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for sure.
I mean, sometimes it's cutting, like, sometimes it's black and white. Like, he ain't gonna be shit, so...
It's kind of like one of those, how they always talk about red flags. You see it, you know it, and you can hide it or try to disregard it or whatever, and then you get down, later down. Like, for instance, like people... and this is not every situation, but like a person that's in a domestic violence relationship. Mm-hmm. So before you even get married, you see these signs. Like, you see the signs of this, but you're like, no, let me stay. And it could be like one of those things, like, if I leave, nobody else is going to take care of him or whatever the case is, so it kind of becomes like a liability type thing. And then you get married, he starts beating on you. May not have ever hit you ever the whole time y'all together, and then he starts hitting on you, and it's like, I can't believe this is happening, but you knew he had that issue. You knew there was a problem, but you decided not to, and vice versa. But you decided not to walk away from it then, or try to get the person some help. So I think that just kind of plays another role too.
I like what you said though. Try to get that person some help, because we all have red flags. Mm-hmm. We all have toxic behaviors. Like, no one gets to walk around here and be like, oh well, I don't have any of these things, because I don't. Because we do. Israel said he doesn't.
That's cute.
But you got divorced, right? One time.
That was your fault.
Oh yeah, it's like we just talked about accountability, man. You're making it work. Now I see why. You know what I mean? 70%. Like, I'm out.
I'm joking.
I know you are, man. I just think it's one of those things for sure.
Why y'all think that number is so high, initiated by women and not men, though?
Could be the independent level. The time that we are in now, everything is women should be equal to men. Relationships should be 50-50, that type deal. So I can see that. Like, they're like, nope, you was here with me, but now I done went above and beyond. I ain't got time because you're not on my same page, or whatever the case is. I don't know. I just feel like that could be.
I'm curious to see, like, the numbers. Do these people have kids? Like, I'm curious to see just, like, what all strictly the percent is of the divorce rate with people with kids.
Or after how many years they've been married.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw it the other day. Very frightening. I think 65 in the black community was like 58%. I'm like, God, so you've been together for like, the 60 to 65-year-olds, in the black community were getting divorced at a higher rate than any other community, any other race that I've seen. And the smallest race, or the least amount that was getting divorced, was the Asian race.
So that's all culture too, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
I'll have to get those stats later. All right, so one of the issues that I feel, one of the reasons why I think that women are walking out of relationships is that men, and we've said it here already, men aren't doing enough to be men. Men aren't being we're not adapting to the situation. Because we understand that women are now being more independent. So if women are now being more independent, I can't come into the same relationship thinking or having the same mentality that I had prior to, or what I was being taught. Because what I was being taught was, you're the man of the house, which means being the man of the house didn't require you to do any work. Because you were a man, you were the man. But, me now thinking about the work that needs to be done, being the man of a house now is taking care of your responsibilities as well as taking care of, the household. And so you need to learn as a man, you need to learn how to cook and clean and take care of your kids. Like, you can't put all that pressure on a woman, especially if she's also working a full-time job just like you. And you're coming home and you're not doing a damn thing and you're making her do everything else. I can see why, hell no, I wouldn't want to be in that relationship neither. And so I think guys need to stop running from the responsibility of, when you're at work, you have responsibilities, you take care of them motherfuckers. Like, no one's asking you to, you want to, because if you take care of them, that's where your money is, and that's how you can provide and take care of your family. But then when you go to the house, you don't do anything. Like, it's just simply not cool. And I think women are like, nah, that's just not what it's going to be about. And so they want to find it in somebody else.
Well, I think it just depends too, because everybody has a role in a relationship.
For sure.
So those conversations need to be had. I
don't think they've been had. No. There's no conversation about, this is my role, this is your role.
Right, especially if one's working and one's not.
Yeah.
Probably whoever it is, man or woman, whoever's staying home knows that they're going to have to take on more house responsibilities than the other person
For sure.
working. But if they're both working, they need to share that shit.
Yeah.
What I mean? Like, that's just, I think it's for everybody.
Or maybe, I don't know, because down here, like West Texas area, men and work, that's their whole life. They're gone for how many hours a week? Crazy, stupid amount of hours in the oil field. And it's like, well, maybe she doesn't want to stay home and be alone with the kids and do this and this and this, because by the time he gets home, he's like, no, I'm
checked out.
I don't want to, But I think that of course that's different everywhere.
Yeah, the talking is definitely what needs to happen beforehand, because it's just like, because I'm a woman, I feel like we have to we do honestly have to make a little bit more of a sacrifice, especially when you're starting a family. We got to carry this kid. We have to take the time off. Granted, dads do get time off, yes, but most of the times their jobs don't let them, or
it's frowned upon if they do get
like
the time
they take off, and
yeah.
it's like, come on now, and then a lot of women will be like, okay, I had the baby, you stay home, take care of the baby, I'm going back to work, because I'm not going to be here all day with this baby, whatever. Maybe we can have alternate schedules, or I'm here 1 week, whatever. But yeah, that conversation definitely needs to be had before kids, because after the kids, it's just going to make it worse.
I know a lot of men that worked extra hours so he wouldn't go to the house.
Yeah.
Like, I know most of the men that I've worked with, they could have gone home like 2 or 3 hours ago, and they was like, man, no. I'm like, bro, what's going on, man? I just don't want to go to the house. And in my head, I'm thinking, damn, dude, like, this is just how I look at it. This is my philosophy. If you're saying you're the man of the house and you don't want to go to your own house, are you the man of your house?
No.
I don't think you are.
No.
So someone has to lead that house then. And if you don't like where your house is at, either you change it, you become the person that, because leadership trickles down. And I feel like, in society we said the man is the head of the household, or not even in society. This is biblical. If you're a Christian, the man is the head of the household. And if your household is full of crap and it's all chaotic, you have to look at the head, because the head isn't doing what it needs to do, because everything that the head does trickles down to everyone else. And so if you don't want to go to your own house as a man, it's not because of your wife and your kids. It's because you haven't created an atmosphere where you can go to your house and it's loving and kind and nice. It's me personally, that's just kind of how I feel.
I feel like a lot of leadership is lacking in men.
For sure.
And when I mean leadership, not mean like financial status, because a woman can still make more money than a man, and he can still lead that household.
For sure.
Mentally, spiritually, everything. Like they lack the leadership.
Emotionally, sexually.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, Like a lot of leadership lacks in men today, you know, and I know from experience, I used to be that person, you know, so.
Oh shit. Okay, so there's a correlation. It could be. I don't know, scientific or not, but I know that 2/3 of women do not have orgasms when they have sex with a heterosexual man. And that's kind of close to the 70%. So maybe women are like, I'm not getting what I need. And they're going out there and finding somebody who knows how to play with her.
Hey, that could be very well it.
I'm just being funny, but it could be.
It could be most of that.
It could be. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like 66% of women, you know, don't know or don't have it often with men. And there's been some women who have been pregnant, who have had babies, and they've never had an orgasm before, which is just crazy to me. And it needs to be different, or it needs to change. And I think that's another way of like, fellas, we're not going over and beyond to make sure that the people in our lives are being taken care of. Because again, if she's not getting hers and you're getting yours, like, how selfish are you as a man?
For sure. And dude, especially in marriage, I know after the 5th year, it can get pretty boring in the bedroom. It gets redundant. You know what I mean? You gotta keep it
spicy,
exciting.
Yeah,
you know, like,
sure.
I don't know. It can get on both parties too.
Yeah.
It's not just the men; it's the women too can get.
Yeah.
But you know what though? This is the thing about vows and saying your vows, and a lot, especially now, it's just what I'm seeing. When you say your vows, does it not say for better or for worse?
Correct.
Right? And you agree to it.
Correct.
For better or for worse. So if that's the worst, you just gonna leave because you decide, oh no, that ain't it. He ain't doing what I expected him to do, so I'm gonna leave. Like, you're not respecting the vow, and again, not putting in that work. And so that is an issue.
Yeah. No, I think it is too, because I think, you know, I think I read a stat. It was like the first 8 years, the majority of people get divorced like the first 8 years. I'm like, damn, 8 years, you're barely starting to like know this person. Like, you're barely starting to crack the surface of who this person really is.
Oh yeah, y'all both have grown.
Yeah, for sure.
Or regress.
For sure. Or regress. Yeah,
You know what
for
I'm saying?
sure.
Like, y'all both changing as a person. Period.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an issue that I kind of think women have, and I'm only saying this because women there's so many channels and documentaries and things about women telling men about what men can and can't do and what men are doing, and I'm just like, okay, cool. You don't get mad at me if a man is saying what women are doing or can't do, because again, this is my opinion, but I can also speak my mind and say what I want to say. That's it. So an issue is women don't communicate verbally.
Directly.
Oh, yeah, very
and so
passive.
it's very difficult, because a man is like, what the fuck is wrong? She's like, nothing. I'm like, I know something's wrong. But you're gonna, if you don't say nothing's wrong, well then guess what?
All right.
The dude's on his game, like clueless of what the fuck is really going on.
Because what you're telling us is nothing's wrong. Okay, well, we're going off your word.
For sure. And I think that's a difficult thing. Is that true or false?
It's very passive and non-verbal.
Yeah.
While the man is very assertive and direct and so.
And not all of them. Like,
No.
for me, I'm a person that will bottle up everything and I will handle it myself. Like, that's just, and it's not good, granted. But
Toxic.
no, look,
I don't need no man.
No, the thing, and it goes back to when I was a kid, like, you know, growing up, and they'd be like, don't say nothing, or, you know, you can't say nothing, or if you do, you know, like, you'll get in trouble. So that kind of trickled off of it. So I guess it just
especially in the black community.
Yes,
yeah,
and I
mom
guess
was like,
that just,
house business is house business.
thank you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, what goes on in this house, you don't say outside this house, whatever the case is. And that's even like when things are happening to you that you need to talk about, but they tell you still don't talk about it, because we don't need to tell them that, you know, the pastor done touched you, whatever. We don't need to, we just leave that alone, that deacon got his hand up your skirt in the middle of prayer. You know, they tell you cover it up. And I think that goes back to why a lot of women, men, whatever, do bottle up, don't say nothing, because they think, okay, if I say something, somebody's gonna get mad at me. I don't know how to tell you what's wrong without me, getting all emotional, whatever the case is. So I think even in a relationship, if you cannot sit and talk about every aspect of emotional, sexual, physical, all of that, there's no way you're going.
And today it's all sexual and
That's
very
it.
much honeymoon phase.
That's
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. This is another thing I was thinking about on the way to here to do this podcast. Pornography is a monster.
Yes.
And if it isn't dealt with, it can screw up, and it will screw up an entire relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm only saying that because it's easier to not do the work, to go into your room, to watch porn, to beat your wiener, and go to sleep, versus getting up and being active around your wife and kids, making sure they're okay, making sure, your wife is getting taken care of. And then usually when that happens, your wife reciprocates what it is that she is seeing. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of guys, it takes too much effort and too much work. And so they just, they cop out. They do the easy way, where it's just, pornography and chasing after women. So they don't have to do the work or deal with the things that are going on in their relationship.
And the thing about pornography too is it's fake.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Yeah.
And you fantasize about what the heck is happening on here, so you try to mimic what's going on. And then if one person can't do it, you're going to try to find somebody that can do whatever it is that you have seen.
Yeah.
And I think that plays in the role of cheating, because if your wife or whoever is not doing it the way that you think that it should be done, you're going to try to find somebody. The next person may not be doing it. The next person may not be doing it. And it's just, that right there is
a whole other beast within itself.
Yeah.
I think it's laziness. A man who cheats is a lazy man. I've been a lazy man before. I've been a lazy man all my life, and I'm saying it, but I'm working on it. I can honestly talk about it and be like, oh, this is who I am, but I'm working to be better so that I don't ever become that lazy person. Mm-hmm. I think a lazy man is someone who doesn't make sure that his woman orgasms when he does. Because men aren't, just think about it in this world. If 70% of men were walking around and they didn't have an orgasm and their ladies did, how would this world be? Be a bunch of dudes punching each other. A bunch of dudes just so stressed and just having everything bottled up and it would be a hot mess.
Well, also too, when it goes to the sex deal,
yeah,
and porn shit, men, if we're pissed at our spouse, we can still have sex with them. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But when the women's mad at us,
ain't nothing happening.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe not all of them, but most of them. Yeah. My experience. Yeah. Right? But that's where the porn comes into play, because if she ain't gonna give it to me, well, shit, I'm just gonna handle it myself. Yeah. And then if you're pissing off your woman all the time, well, you ain't never gonna have sex. Yeah. And then so what you're gonna do? You're gonna get addicted to porn, and it's just a vicious cycle.
And if you put alcohol in it, then it just becomes even a more vicious cycle.
For sure.
At that point, now you really could care less, if you hurt anyone's feelings, because now it's all about you, and you have to get your needs met. So
there are bukus of studies about how porn ruins relationships.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah. No, that for sure is, I think, is a fact.
And more women today are admitting they watch porn too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something that, again, I don't think people want to talk about, because let's keep it in the dark. But if none of this stuff is talked about, then nothing changes in this world. It continues to happen. And what happens is, a lot of times guys get caught off guard. Most guys never see the divorce coming until their wife is like, I want a divorce.
Until she's done.
Until she's done.
Yep.
And if she's done, there's
can't fix it.
Essentially no way you're getting back with her. And if it is, it's very few and in between.
Yeah.
So and I tried this. My ex was like, I'm done. And I kind of thought of the writing on the wall. There was just a lot going on. So I was like, okay, cool. And we tried later to try to work things out, but it was just it was already done in the beginning. There was no effort or energy put into it. We tried to make it work, and it was this isn't what it is. Even though like there was effort put into it one way or another, it just wasn't enough. And so it was just, this is just what it is. But I know for a fact that once a woman says like it's a wrap, it's
a wrap.
It's a wrap. Like you really can't go back to it. My question is, how long did it take you before you finally said something, even though you knew it was a wrap?
I would say a while. It's not just like an overnight thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it builds up. Could be gradually. It could be, I don't know.
Let me tell you, this is because I just went through this.
Okay.
So the guy I was recently dating, we dated for 3 years. Well, it would have been 3 years. And I knew within the first 3 months it wasn't going to work.
Oh, shit.
I did. I knew it, but I had this mindset of, okay, maybe it will. Let's just...
Maybe it will, but it wasn't because you already felt it?
I already knew. And I'm like, no, okay. We'll figure it out. Or maybe it's just because, and I kept telling myself, maybe it's just because this is the first relationship you've had after you had your son, whatever. Maybe it's just me. No. Exactly what I knew and saw and should have just stuck to got worse. And so just recently we had this conversation and I told him, I said, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I knew when my baby turned 2 that this was not going to work.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, and I apologize because that's on me. Like, I really do apologize. I said, I'm sorry because I tried to make it work. Or I tried to black everything out. Fake the funk.
Yeah, I got you.
But I did. I knew literally within the first 3 months, I'm like, this is not the man that I would want to marry.
Damn, so do you think a lot of women are doing that? Like, getting it too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So that's why that's why it's so high. They just forcing themselves
That's
to.
what I was talking about. How you see somebody and you're like, no, I'm going to build him up to this person that I want to be.
He has the
Even though he could be the worst piece of shit.
So that
you're
percentage
like, hey,
is high because of y'all.
It says
it might be, yeah.
Well, I mean, because a lot of times people try to blame men. It's like, oh, well, men are the reasons why it's so high. But I'm like, again, you have to take a look at yourself as well and try to figure out, like, okay, why is it so high?
There's a lot more into that needs to be looked at, of course.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But that happens. People get married and they just still have in their mind, okay, it's gonna be what I want it to be, or it's gonna turn out, and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
But I feel
But you knew it wasn't going to because he had already showed you who he was to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The dude, I don't really. Were you ever like trying to change, or did you know, or
like in my marriage?
Yeah.
Well, my case is different.
Yours.
I was really fucked up on alcohol and drugs, so I wasn't doing shit. I was regressing the whole way.
Yeah.
So, like who I am today, I don't know. That's a new experience. That's gonna be a new experience for me if I ever get married.
For sure.
Because I'm a totally different person today.
If you ever get married,
If I
are
ever
you
get-
one of those
if
guys
I ever
that
get
like
married.
you don't want to?
I'm open to it, but
Hit him up.
So you don't have an ice box where your heart used to be?
All right now.
It's thawed out.
Cold.
It's cold.
He said it's heating up. It's hot.
single, ready to mingle.
Ooh.
We'll drop his information.
Yeah, for sure.
Click the link below.
Click the link below. Damn, that's okay. I kind of figured, but like that's crazy. Kind of hearing it from both of y'all, how y'all, are saying like you knew,
Well, but let me tell you this: me and Lisa J both grew up in a single mother household.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Got you. So you think are there like daddy? You think you have daddy issues?
100%. Daddy issues are real.
For me, I don't have daddy issues. Now, I used to have an issue with my daddy, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
Daddy issue.
It never bothered me that they never were in the same household because I like the idea of like, okay, I get to go to my dad's house, whatever. So it never bothered me. But as I got older, I kind of just, no joke, like college, I'm like, dang, like my daddy didn't see me do this, and that and the other. But we sat and had that conversation. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't hate you. I said, because I didn't have an issue. I didn't feel like I had an issue growing up. But explain to me why you wasn't there. And he did. And he told me exactly what the reason was or whatever the case is. And I'm like, okay. And I told him, I said, you know what? I forgive you for that. Granted, it was not a good reason. Like, it was kind of a dumb
excuses
reason.
and
Yeah.
not being accountable
But
for like.
me and him, like our relationship now is way better than what it used to be, and it's just because now we have an understanding. But honestly, growing up, I guess like my uncle was like my daddy figure, so I knew what it felt like to have love from a man or whatever the case is. So it's I don't know. I wouldn't even say I ever had daddy issues. It's just maybe I have.
Have you been to counseling before?
I have.
You have been to counseling? Okay, that's good. A lot of black folks don't go to counseling. A lot of black folks don't think they need counseling because they feel like they can do it by themselves or they got Jesus. I'm like, Jesus put counselors on this earth for a reason.
Same thing with the Hispanic community.
Yeah, that's a cultural thing.
Okay.
But honestly, I didn't go to counseling as a kid. But I didn't, for me, even in school, like I tell people this all the time, I'm actually getting ready to go to school to be a counselor because growing up, going in school, there was never a black counselor.
For sure.
And I always felt like, how you going to relate to me? You don't know what, there's no similarity here. And that could have been if I would have, asked or told them whatever the issue was. But yeah, I didn't see a counselor until I was in college. Yeah. And this was like a year before graduating college. And I'm like, oh, it is good to make sure your mind is right.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you don't.
Speaking of, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
And a lot of men have this stigma for counseling, which is complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I think everybody, whether you think you're fine or not,
that's society for
go
you.
see some professional.
Yeah. And then maybe it'll save your damn marriage because you'll figure out some things about yourself that you didn't know, that maybe your wife has been telling you about this whole entire damn time, and you can't listen to her, but you can listen to somebody that is a professional say the same exact thing, and it could resonate. Oh shit, that's what she had been saying. So let me go and one, apologize, and then try to do the work to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, her, and the family. So
it's kind of like me now and having my son. He's 5, and people are like, he too soft. He don't need to be crying, whatever. And I'm like, he's 5 years old, for one. He has every right to be emotional. And I think that's what it is with society. They look at men like men can't cry.
Yes.
Men can't break down. Yeah. Men have to forever hold this upkeeping of, no, I am the head of the household. And that is the problem. Like, no, come on, let it out. Yeah. And don't let it out in a way that's going to get you in jail or in trouble, in a negative way. And I think that plays a huge role in it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Real men cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm raising 2 boys right now, and I'm trying the hardest to teach them it's okay to cry, but then also ask them why you crying.
Yeah.
And it's usually because they're not getting their way.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay to cry, but don't throw a fit about it.
Yeah.
And I think like me growing up, that was frowned upon to cry. You had to be tough, bottle it in, and that's where a lot of people, especially men my age, are emotionally immature.
Yeah.
Just because it's all generational culture deal, it's just, I don't know, it's not good.
Kind of off subject, but I was watching a video, and this kind of blew my mind, and I've been thinking about it all day. This guy said depression and anxiety comes from not having your needs met. What do you think about that?
I can't see that.
Maybe depression, but anxiety is more of something you can't control, not needs that need to be met, if that makes sense.
But you can't really control depression either.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying anxiety forms from...
Anxiety,
not
from something else.
Not being able to control.
Depression.
But depression, maybe I can see.
So I'm thinking like, man, if I had my needs met every time I woke up, there was no point for me to be depressed or to have anxiety. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
that's what I'm thinking.
From what that.
Yeah.
Now, like she was saying, anxiety. That's something because I have anxiety driving on the highway.
For sure.
How's that?
Yeah.
Do I need to drive more on the highway to have that need met? You know what I'm saying?
If you have someone driving for you, would that need be met? Would you still have anxiety on the road?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, no, because it's like I'm not driving. I'm not in control. Now I'm going to get anxiety because I'm not driving. I'm not in control.
Exactly.
I got you.
But depression, I mean, people, I don't know, because you can have everything in the world except you're depressed.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, there's some people who are just like suffering from clinical depression, usually that chemical imbalance in the brain that they can't control. But there's some people who are like just, the average person gets depressed regularly, and probably without them even knowing it, and just, I don't know.
So I'm gonna send you the YouTube. It was just fascinating because he's saying there is an imbalance chemically in your head, but there's also an imbalance in your surrounding or what's going on around you that's creating this imbalance as well. And so he was talking about how a woman who had anxiety and depression finally got out of her house 7 years. She's been in the house for 7 years. She got out, and he put her with a group of people, and they started to build like a garden together. And then from that garden, they understand and realize that a lot of that depression and anxiety went away because a lot of people's needs were being met. And so he's just saying there's like an antidepressant, medicine. He wasn't saying like don't take your medicine, but he's also saying like, and I'm kind of correlating it back to there's a lot of people, women and men, saying they don't need each other. But in the end of the day, I feel like we all need each other in order to make this world a better place, to get my needs met, to get your needs met. And there is no like, I'm looking or finding or trying to, go somewhere else to get these needs met. And it's usually in like a negative and a way that's kind of destructive and destroys things.
I feel like there's a difference too between having your needs met and your wants met.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because your needs are just basic essentials for life,
For sure.
And most people, granted, not everybody has that need met, right? But your wants, that's where all just your wants, basic wants, a spouse, a good job, money, vacation, a good, nice car, whatever it is that makes you happy. All those wants ain't being met or not being met, then maybe, yeah. But there's that, I like to keep it simple with myself. Like, I have to be happy with what I have, what God has put me in front of me right now. Like, I got to accept and be happy and grateful for that, Yeah. And then you'll be the happiest, I feel.
Yeah.
Do I do that every day? Hell no, I'm not perfect at all. But I'm working towards that.
Yeah.
Because I want a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of shit. But in order for me to be completely happy, I just got to be happy for what I got right now.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Last quote, and then we'll go. All right, so he said, you live in a machine that is designed to get us to neglect what is important about life. You live in a machine that is designed to get us to neglect what is important about life. And I think that is, we think money and cars and the outward appearance is what's going to make us powerful, and people, are really going to look, at us and think we're cool and shit. Those people don't even know who the hell they are as a person. And so they're liking things on the outward, but on the inward, you're just broken.
That's why I feel bad for childhood stars, or
that
grow up in the limelight their entire life, and then they lash out as an adult, and it's still visually seen, but it's like they're allowed to, because y'all wouldn't let them. But now y'all need to get them some help, type deal. But you gotta learn to be happy with nothing. I say that all the time. Learn to be happy with nothing, so whenever you have everything.
Wah, 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 wah. That's a mic drop moment. Can you say that quote one more time? Lisa J. Say it one more time, please.
Learn to be happy with nothing.
Learn to be happy with nothing. Man, we're going to... Bryleigh, have anything to say?
I can't top that.
Okay, I think Israel, you got anything to say?
Just click the link below.
Yeah, click the link below.
Go find his Facebook page.
Go find his Facebook page. My man said he black from the waist down, knees up. Is that what you said?
It matches the voice.
All right, man. I see it. I like that, man. All right, so listen, I appreciate y'all for jumping on and having this conversation. Again, like, subscribe, share. In my British accent.
Oh God! Here we go.
Like, subscribe, share. Again, this podcast was created because we want to help build high-value men. We want to talk about things that most men just typically don't talk about because it's taboo, it's frowned upon. But we also want to bring people in from the opposite sex to also give us their perspective so that we can learn and grow and just be better men, but also better people as a whole. I hope y'all have a great weekend. And if anyone had told you today that they love you, let me be the first to say I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. You deserve the best that this world has to offer. Do not give up. Do not quit. The world doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. Bye-bye. Deuces.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And for daily, motivational, and up-to-date content, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Excellence Above Talent. And remember, keep moving forward, never give up, and you are never alone in this battle. We'll see you next time.